Today, I'm going to share some challenges I faced while following the carnivore diet and discuss some strategies to overcome those challenges. And if you've received criticism from your family and friends because of being on the carnivore diet, you'll want to watch this video to the end because I will go into that topic and explain how I respond to that criticism. All right, so the first challenge that I have experienced a lot, especially early on the carnivore diet, is carb craving. Just craving different carbs, sugar, whatever, right? Um, this has been a huge challenge for me. I'm the type of person that I, if I have something that I shouldn't, have some sort of carb or whatever, the cravings for the carbs really come on strong. Even now, I am now 18 months on the carnivore diet. If I have something that I really shouldn't, like let's say more recently, I just had my birthday. A couple weeks ago, I turned 50 years old, and I had a small piece of birthday cake. And just eating that made me want to eat more sugar, more carb related stuff. It just kicked on some kind of switch within me, and I wanted more carbs. I was craving things again. So for me, it takes a few days at least of eating clean again to get past that. Um, Everybody is different, and there are people that don't have these types of cravings. And some people, they can just eat whatever it is, have that one mistake food, and then be fine. But for me, that just hasn't worked. So the best thing for me is to completely stay away from those foods. And it can be a challenge also when people in your household have those types of foods in the house, right? They're eating them, and you see, different snacks, potato chips and pretzels and, cupcakes and whatever, right? Um, so, obviously it's gonna be different for everybody, but for me, the best thing was abstinence, just staying away from those foods, not eating them. Every time I have ate them, it's been trouble for me. And when that does happen, the best thing for me to do is to make sure I am eating enough good full meals out of the carnivore related foods, out of the meat and so forth, so that I am nice and full, and then I don't tend to have the cravings quite as bad. Um, when those cravings do come on, if you have something quick that you can have, like some sort of jerky, beef jerky of some sort or something, or if you can cook up some bacon or eggs really quick, that tends to be a good thing. Um, it's not necessarily ideal to eat outside of your normal meal times that you're eating when you're on the carnivore diet. But if you get those cravings, it's better to eat, something like eggs or bacon or something like that than to go and eat a cupcake or something that's just going to cause you to crave foods even more. All right, another challenge is the price of meat. Yes, everything has gone up in price lately over the last few years, right? But meat is expensive. And what you have to remember is that you don't need to eat a steak every day, or you don't need to eat ribeye or filet or something like that that's more expensive, right? But even in terms of steak, there's things like chuck steak that you can have. Um, you can have like sirloin and just add some, if you get the sirloin cap, you can add some of that fat into it or just add butter to it or whatever to try and make it a little bit fattier. Other options that are really good are ground beef and eggs. They're both fairly affordable if you're on a really tight budget. You do need to consider the money you're saving by not buying other food, though. Looking at my house when the kids were home, we had all kinds of food and drink that you just don't need on the carnivore diet. Some examples are 12 packs of soda, which are easily $6 to $7 a pack for like a 12 pack. Granola bars, $3 to $4 a box. Orange juice, that's like another $5, right? Different snack foods like Pringles, potato chips, pretzels, candy bars, side dishes for meals might be like mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, broccoli, whatever it is, right? The point here is that you're probably paying at least a few bucks for each meal for all those side dishes and stuff, and then the snacks and so forth. And on the carnivore diet, you don't need any of that. So you're not buying any of that. So in reality, you can spend a little bit more on the meat because you're not spending money on those other things. Then you have to consider certain medications like antacids or vitamins and supplements that you just don't need when you're doing the carnivore diet. Before going on carnivore, I used to take turmeric, fish oil, vitamin C, and calcium, which I no longer need to take any of those now that I'm on the carnivore diet. So that's another bit of money that I'm saving somewhere else that I can use towards getting myself different meats and steak and so forth. Also, prescription medications. I no longer have to take a couple of prescriptions that I was taking for AFib, and I have less medication for controlling my blood pressure. In fact, I'll probably be coming off of that medication pretty soon. Then there's getting sick, going to the doctor, whatever medication they might give you for that sickness. I rarely get sick anymore. In the last year and a half since I've been on carnivore, I have only been sick twice. The first time I had COVID was over a year ago, and it was pretty mild compared to when I had gotten COVID once before being on the carnivore diet. The other time that I got sick, it was a sinus infection over the summer, and it happened after drinking alcohol, and I had a reaction to the histamine in the alcohol. So, I didn't need to be seen by a doctor for either of those two circumstances, so I saved money there. Even with the insurance I have, there's a copay to go to the doctor, so I didn't have to spend the money on the copays. I didn't need medications that I would have needed to spend. Before carnivore, I was sick quite often. I'd get things like bronchitis, ear infections, multiple sinus infections every year, the flu. I even had pneumonia once that lasted for several weeks. That was just like 3-4 years ago that happened. And you don't want to ask me how much the medications cost for like the flu and pneumonia, because they're not really covered very well by my insurance. So they were very expensive. So I have to ask, is the price of meat really that bad considering the other savings you will have? And don't forget, your health is the most important thing you have. Your health is priceless. All right, the next challenge is with going out to eat. And let me start it out here by just saying, when you go out to eat, they expect that you're going to eat a bunch of side dishes, and you're probably going to have an appetizer, maybe a dessert, that kind of thing, right? So the amount of meat that they give you when you go out to eat is not very big. A lot of times you'll see things on the menu. It's like a 6 ounce or an 8 ounce or even like a 12 ounce sirloin or something like that, right? And of course, again, there's probably a couple of sides. They want to give you like a salad and a baked potato or broccoli or something like that, right? They typically think people are going to eat the bread that they give you. Like if you go to a steakhouse, a lot of steakhouses will give you bread. Sometimes they think you're going to eat an appetizer. Maybe you're going to get cheese fries, or like if you go to Outback, like a bloomin' onion or something like that. And then some people get dessert. So when you do all those different things, it fills you up at that time, but you're eating so many carbs and sugar, it just doesn't fit a healthy lifestyle for eating, right? So going out to eat is a bit of a challenge, because the first thing you look at is, okay, let's say I want to get a steak. Is that steak going to be enough for me to eat? And can I keep myself from eating those sides? One thing that I have tended to do at times when I go to certain restaurants is find something that they have on the menu that isn't like under their normal entree. So there's no side dishes that come with it. So for instance, some places have chicken wings on their appetizer, right? You got to be careful. It's not always cooked the best way with the chicken wings, but that is something you could do. I've done that before at places, and I just get, like let's say 18 chicken wings or something to that effect, 20 chicken wings, whatever. And then that's my meal. Um, that's Buffalo Wild Wings is a good place for me to go because of that. So I will go there sometimes. They cook their chicken wings in tallow, which is really good. And, you can get it with the sauce on the side and just dip a little bit if you want sauce, or maybe not even have sauce at all. Put some salt on it and eat it that way. I've been known to get 20 chicken wings at Buffalo Wild Wings and just eat the chicken wings. Um, Another thing I have done more recently is like at steakhouses, for instance, Texas Roadhouse. I recently went there and I ordered a 16-ounce ribeye, and you get two sides with it. So what I did was I said I wanted the salad, but all I wanted was the cheese and the egg that comes in their salad. So there was no lettuce, no tomato, no croutons, no salad dressing, any of that. And then I said that I wanted both sides to be that salad of just egg and cheese. So I got a really nice size bowl, pretty big size bowl that had nothing but egg and cheese in it. And that was my side, or they actually came before the steak. And then my 16-ounce ribeye came and I ate the steak. That worked out really well. Another thing you can do at Texas Roadhouse, if you don't want that much egg and cheese, or if you are worried about the cheese for the dairy as well, you can just get the egg. Um, but you could do this. You could say, okay, I want the salad with just the egg, or let's say the egg and the cheese as one side. And then my second side, I want the baked potato, but I don't want the actual baked potato. So I just want the sour cream, the butter. I believe that if you do the fully loaded one, there's bacon to it and cheese, that kind of thing. So you'll get all that stuff as well. And you can mix that in with your egg and cheese. And now you've got a really nice side dish that is carnivore side. And then you have your steak that you ordered or whatever. So those are some good options when you do go out to eat. The other thing I'll say though about going out to eat, it is much more expensive than just eating at home. And I found that at this point, I can make a better tasting steak than what I normally find at a restaurant. So a lot of times I just stay home and don't go out. But my wife and I, we like to go out every once in a while, and she'll want to go out to dinner sometimes. So we will go and do those types of things that I just suggested there. So another challenge that I run into is the weight on the scale. Don't get caught up in weight loss stalls. That's the key right there. It's about being healthier and losing body fat, not the weight. You may still have fat to lose, but you might also be gaining muscle, and muscle does weigh more than fat. So keep that in mind when you're looking at the scale. If it's not changing very much, um, or if it's not even changing at all, it's okay, because if you're doing the things you should be doing, you're eating the right foods, you're still getting healthier, and you're probably still losing body fat if you still have a good amount of body fat to lose. So don't get caught up with the weight on the scale. That's a key thing. All right, so family and friends' reactions. All right. I definitely have heard a lot, over the last 18 months, especially early on. I heard that I was probably doing the wrong thing and it wasn't a good idea, and that eating too much meat can cause different issues. It can cause colon cancer, it can cause other cancers, it can cause heart issues. I could have a heart attack, diabetes. I've heard all kinds of things, right? And the best thing you can do is to lead by example. So, over time, they're going to see that you're getting healthier, you're losing weight. I've lost over 80 pounds. I've fixed so many health issues. My blood pressure is better now, more under control. I no longer have AFib. I used to have 2 to 3 episodes a week, and I haven't had an episode in almost 18 months now. I don't have back pain anymore. Arthritis, there's no arthritis pain, there's no joint pain. Mild depression is gone. I'm in a happier mood. I have more energy. I don't have the fatigue that I used to have or the brain fog that I had before. And people around me see all that over time and they're like, wow, well, maybe what you're doing is working. And the other key is, every 6 months I get my blood levels checked. And things have been pretty good. And, the triglyceride number has gone way, way down. It has gone down by like probably 250 points or something like that. My HDL number has gone up a little. And really, people complain a bit about LDL and say LDL is a problem. My LDL has not changed a whole lot. I know some people, it changes more, but I also don't agree that LDL is a problem. And, I will sometimes explain different, studies out there or whatever that show that LDL is not really a cause of heart disease. And a higher cause of heart disease are things like high blood pressure, diabetes, insulin resistance, those types of things. But I will say that a lot of times you're not going to change somebody's mind just by saying those things. They're going to need to see the difference in you, and they probably still, in some cases, are not going to change. And they're still going to say that they don't think that that's the right thing. And the best thing to do in those instances is to just say, well, I understand. This is what I'm doing for my health. And, you're just going to have to understand that and respect that. And I think that if they truly are a friend or a good family member, that they are going to respect that. And even if they don't agree with it, I don't think that they are going to really criticize you too much about that, right? If they do, then, and they continue to do that, especially after they've seen the changes in you, then maybe you need to talk a little more with them about that, or, maybe you need to rethink about that friendship or something, because they should be able to support you. I believe in the carnivore diet, but there are people out there that I know that are more plant-based, and it's not something I would ever do, but I still respect them and I don't say anything negatively towards them or anything. It's what they're doing to make themselves a better, healthier person. It's better than eating all the sugar and processed foods. So, I treat them the way that I would want them to treat me. And I think that that's the big key there. And if you have people that are continuing to criticize you, especially as you have made huge strides in your health, then maybe you really just need to rethink that relationship with that person. All right. So I hope that these challenges that I face on a carnivore diet and the suggestions that I've had that have worked for me and so forth, I hope that they are helpful for you. And I will see you guys all in another video pretty soon.